Hi, everyone. Welcome to OptoMed Live. Appreciate you joining us today. Real excited to have a special guest with us today, Kristine Gregory with Bedeckers Interiors. You know, at OptoMed, one of the most important things we talk about is direction, academic direction. And of course, that's driven by, the type of work that you think that you want to do, the type of work that might be appropriate for the student. And so we want to talk to professionals who do different types of work so that young people can get a flavor for what it's really like and maybe help them make better decisions about the direction they're headed and what they're thinking about doing. So, Kristine, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I have to ask first before we get into the weeds. Just what your journey. How did you find interior design? How did you end up there? I know, having talked with you previously, that it wasn't something that you grasped as a teenager and followed into adulthood, right?
No, I've always been a creative. I'm an artist, but I was afraid that I was going to be a starving artist. I didn't want to fall into that path. And so with the encouragement of my parents, I went into business school. And so I have a degree in marketing management from Florida State University.
Huh?
And I'm from Richmond. I came back to Richmond to raise a family. And I started in interior design when my son was a baby. I decided to create my own business. And with that creative side that I already had, and my dad is an architectural designer, so I had that to bounce back on. And then my business degree, it all kind of came together in an interior design career.
Okay, so I didn't know that you went to Florida State. Okay, so this I went to Florida, so I don't know. Is this going to be a problem for us?
Nope, both very good schools.
So anyway, we talk about interior design. It's sort of like a lot of other professions. There's different ways that could be taken, right?
Correct.
So what are some of the different ways one could engage in interior design?
Well, I chose the residential interior design route. I like working with homeowners directly. It is a little bit more challenging in that you deal with husband and wives, and you're a lot of times you play marriage counselor, and you have to be very patient and figure out, because a lot of times their styles don't meet, and you have to come up with something to make it work for everybody. Commercial interior design tends to be a little more structured, and it takes a little bit longer for commercial interior design projects to go through. You have to go through committee. You have to wait for payment. It's not as quick. Things just tend to take a little bit longer, but it's a little cleaner, especially, say, cubicles and things like that. You can only be so creative in laying out spaces, but that is something a lot of people like to do. They like to make it's a lot easier. I chose to be a little bit more complex with what I do. I love fabrics. I love touching the fine fabrics, linens, and things that are woven in Ireland, and fine silks and things like that. I really get really happy. Really happy. Yeah. I get turned on touching the fabrics.
Exactly.
But finding something that's beautiful and being able to put it in somebody's home, that really appeals to me. There are other ways to do my job, and I have worked with my clients in staging, which is very helpful. If you're leaving a space, you need somebody to come in and make your home a commodity. It's kind of an anti-design. You're undoing and just making a product that anyone could be interested in. But that is another avenue that you could take.
Right. Yeah. So describe for me a day in the life of Kristine?
So my days are never the same, which is really, I like it. It's really fun. I
Yeah.
always meet my homeowners in their homes. You can see fabrics and colors and things in their lighting. It's a lot better than meeting here because my lighting and way my house looks is completely different than any of my homeowners. I love the challenge of everybody's style is a little different. So figuring out what works best and making a home work for them. I always tell people when they choose things that they need to pick something they like because I'm not going to live there. I'm going to leave, and they need to be happy with the products they choose. I do meet with homeowners. I have samples I carry in my trunk of fabrics and paints and shades and all kinds of things that I tote around with me. And I also carry an iPad that's connected, and then I can look up fabrics and things
Right.
on the site. Especially now where there are supply chain issues, it's important to be able to see things that are back ordered and, manage expectations of how long things will take or
Sure.
how quickly things will come in. There's a design center in Richmond that enables me to shop for fabrics and things. It's to the trade only, so I can go there and find fabrics. Since I am running my own business and I am the sole employee, I'm a little bit of everything. Wear multi hats. So if you work for yourself, you have to think about that. I am the marketing agent. I am the accountant. I am the accounts receivable. I am the accounts payable. I am the order person. I am keeping track of
Right.
all of the time management for the project, making sure things have been ordered, that they're coming in, where are they? And I have an installer that I work with who installs window treatments and things, and I have furniture factories and receivers. But all these things, since it's my business, I made the contacts, I created the accounts, I keep track of everything. That's challenging, and you have to be very organized. If you're not that type of person, then maybe working for a firm where you have a team would be a better choice.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. So that kind of, so I think that brings it to my next question, which is, and you already touched on creativity, which I think is one of those. Yeah, of course you have to be creative to be in, something that's got design attached to the name, obviously. But what, the other characteristics one might need to have to be successful or to be happy, I suppose. You talked a lot about being in front of, couples, husband and wives. So, and talked about maybe being a, marriage counselor in some extent. So there's got to be a people piece there, right?
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
And
what else might a young person think about?
I'm a little bit on the introvert side. Well, organization is good. You have to listen.
Right.
To what people are telling you.
Okay.
If you don't pay attention to what they're reading, and you also have to be a little bit intuitive. Sometimes you read between the lines what they aren't telling you.
Yeah.
For what they need.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You have to stay current with trends, be aware of what's happening in the market, what's in and what's out. And, you don't want to give somebody something that looks 20 years ago. But you also don't want to have something that's so faddish that it's going to go away. So, there's a mix of understanding what's there. For me, I work with fabrics a lot, so I have to know about the properties of fabrics. Some things don't work on furniture. Some things you can't make into a drapery. They don't work that way. I think design schools don't teach a lot about window treatments. They don't. They just don't. So I have taken it upon myself to have taken continuing education unit classes and seminars so I can know about how to measure for draperies and how to calculate yardage and that. So, that was important to learn.
Sure.
So there's a lot of aspects to the business. It's not as cut and dry as it seems sometimes.
Yeah. But we're always, no matter what you do, you have to continue to learn keep up to date with what's going on in the industry. Like has this obsession with gray gone out, or is it still around?
It's still here.
Okay,
Still,
just checking.
Sadly, still here. Yeah. And
Yeah.
when somebody says, "Hey," I try to steer them different directions sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you consider to be maybe the and maybe you don't see a downside to it, but what is maybe your biggest challenge in being a business person, being in interior design? What is your biggest challenge?
Well, I'm working by myself, so
Yeah.
it can be sometimes. I want somebody to bounce things off of. And so staying in peer groups is important. I have other designers who do what I do, and we know each other and can connect and, complain sometimes or celebrate each other's victories often. So, yeah, I'd say
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the
good.
really the downside of it. I enjoy what I do.
Good.
Lately, there have been supply chain issues just because of COVID and shipping and things, and that's frustrating right now. It's a lot different than it used to be, and things are taking longer, and just having to manage my clients' expectations. What's going to be happening, and that's the key. Communication is the key. You've got to communicate with everybody that you work with, and respond to people and let them know what's happening. And then, you haven't just walked off with their money 6 months ago and you don't have anything to show for it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, what would be, as we end our conversation, is there one piece of wisdom or advice that you would give a young person who's considering pursuing interior design?
So I thought about this. This is like you would impart your wisdom of the ages.
It's not. I know it's
high school.
That's hard. I know, hard question. I know. Put you on the spot. Sorry.
I don't think directly to interior design, but just know that you evolve in life and you don't have to pick your lifetime career right now.
Nice. Okay.
And I think everything that you do in any part of your life will lead you in some way to what your next step is. So everything you learn, everything that you do will help you in whatever career that you choose. And if you pick something and you figure out it's not what you wanted, it's not the end of the world, do something else.
Wonderful. I think that's as you said, that's good advice, not just for interior design, but for any young person to keep in mind that this coming out of college and coming out of college, it's just the first step. There's a whole lot of life ahead of you, and we all change directions at least once or twice. So
exactly, and I think you learn from everything you do.
Right. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, Kristine, how do they do that?
So my company name is there below me, Bedeckers. And so it's bedeckers.com. And there's contact information at my website.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And if you can't find her there, you can get to Kristine through Optimum Ed at our website, optimumedcenter.com, or you can call our office, 804-417-4807. Kristine, again, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate the insight, and you have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for asking me.